Alright, so guess what? Transmission's on the ground. But how's that done? For the short version, take your half shafts out. Intermediate shaft on this is bolted to the back side of the motor. Once you get your half shafts out, do whatever you gotta do to get them out. I didn't want to destroy my lower ball joint, and it didn't like my usual methods. When I try and save the ball joint to separate it, I'll take and open it up and pick up the whole car with the jack, and usually that'll make it pop. If not, I'll shock it at the lower control arm with a hammer with the weight of the car on it, and it was not going. Okay, so the next thing I did was take all my electrical connections as well as a bunch off the motor here, just so that I could get the whole damn thing and swing it up and out of the way. Once I got that with the lower subframe, front subframe still in place, was I took this bolt, or rather nut, off the top of that mount so that I could drop the subframe. Then I went ahead and supported the transmission by that hoist point that's right on top of it there. Supported everything when it was still up and in place with the hoist. With it supported, I got underneath it and I took out the front subframe. With the front subframe out of the way, I had enough room to lower it further, and I did lower my rear subframe. You see my gaps here? Excuse me. See my gaps here? So I did lower the rear subframe, but just a little bit in the back. Okay. So there's my automatic flywheel. Lovely. There's a 5-speed automatic transmission. Not so lovely at the moment. And like I said before, and I showed it before, but I couldn't show this much because it wasn't anywhere near this accessible. Come on, focus. B7WA Acura 5-speed auto. So he's going to be coming in the garage, and what I'll do in the meantime, as soon as I get that thing into the garage, is I'm going to go ahead and take the front subframe, put it back in place, bolt it back together, and basically hang the motor again, because right now it's just kind of resting on the rear subframe mount and this front side mount that actually grabs the body frame. So I'm only on 2 mounts right now. Not the smartest way to hang, especially if you want to reuse them mounts, which I do because I'm a cheapskate. So let me put this camera down and put this thing back up to where it'll be a little bit better supported. Alright, see how nice and happy that motor is sitting now in relation to this, for example. Nice. I didn't bolt him down, I just got him resting on that motor mount, and I never unhooked the rear motor mount. But now you can see that my subframe is back in place, and so that's what's supporting my motor. The subframe is holding the front mount to the car frame, the car frame on that side, that far mount, and then the rear mount hangs on the rear subframe. So now I've got 3 good points. That's pretty solid. I'm not worried about him anymore. That said, this is my little table I'm going to use, and I had to make sure that the table was solid before I go ahead and throw this heavy ass transmission on top of it. So now it ain't going to go nowhere, and I can go ahead and get started with my cleanup and tear down. Good times. Okay, so this is the trans heater that comes off the top of the transmission, and it does a water to water heat exchange. This is essentially it's like an auxiliary pump that helps out with the power steering. That goes in the place, if you're looking at this and you're like, boy, I've seen one of them before, but the top part looks different. That's because that's in the hole for the vehicle speed sensor, where you would otherwise have, you know, wires coming off the top of that, and an older similar cased transmission Okay, here's all my solenoids. Here's the other guys, more shift solenoids and stuff. The filters in here are full of shit, these little screens. This guy, not so much. This guy, oh my god. Oh, just lost that little piece. I'm gonna have to make sure and get him back up and put him back where he goes. But yeah, so all my solenoids and shit are off. Here's the last couple of, you know, the gear indicator, shifter doohickey switch, and the one that always seems to fuck up everywhere that I've seen online, as well as in the 5-speed on the Odyssey that I did, my Odyssey, is this guy, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a transmission temp sensor, and he kind of broke off just a little bit and left just a little bit of plastic in the hole here. I'm gonna take my chances and go ahead and rebuild and not even order that part for now. We'll see whether or not it's happy when I put it back together, but it doesn't look shitty, so I'm gonna go ahead and give that a go. Alright, notes for right now, after just having barely opened up the top of the case, is that there's a lot, come on, figure it out. A lot of friction material in here, like gobs of this shit. So I know what I'm gonna see when I get a little further into this. I'm gonna see that there's gonna be no friction on the frictions, and the steels are gonna have been pretty damn hot. That's what I'm gonna see. But for right now, looking at things and where we're at, I am in park because my gear selector here has got the parking pawl engaged. So I'm in park. That's where I need to be for the pin that's on this shaft to be able to take the next section of the case up and apart. So for right now, I've got to get my 3 main nuts off, perverts, and I got to get my reverse gear up and out of the way to where I'll be able to go ahead and open up this case. Now, if you're really good and you know everything, then you're awesome. But for me, because it's just more convenient for me, I like to take all the bolts and put them right where they came from, so that there's no question when the shit needs to go back together of, you know, how it came apart. So that's level 1. All right, I'm pretty sure this is 3rd gear. And holy shitballs. For the record, this is what the frictions and steels should look like, or they should at the very least resemble that. Okay, this is what's in place. This is what come out. That's a steel. That's a friction. Think it was time? That's a steel. That's a friction. Damn good thing we're in here, huh? Steel. Friction. Can't even see the fucking hash marks or the little crisscross or nothing. Yummy. Yeah. Look at all this shit, huh? Look at that magnet. What magnet? The magnet that's underneath all this shit. Look at it sitting in here, look. That's friction material. But I already said that when I pulled the top. I knew what we were going to be seeing in here. Bearings actually don't look bad. But yeah, so just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. No problem. Yep. So right now all I've got is my master rebuild kit. I don't have the shift kit to get into the valve bodies today. But yeah. Alright, and I did not mention this before, but this when you're looking at it, and I have not changed the orientation of my transmission since I got in here. This is the one that I believe is that third gear on the very top, in the top cover. Okay, this guy here is the only one that has a standard thread. All right, these two are reverse threads. So this is tighty, lefty tighty, righty loosey, righty loosey, lefty loosey. Okay, there are not arrows on this one, and I figured it'd be important to mention that. The way that I found it was looking at the actual threads and chasing. Come on, focus. I was looking at the threads and I was chasing those threads to see which way do they go, which way is going to take me up and which way is going to take me out. That's a lot of shitty steels and frictions. A lot. But they're all done. They're all in their respective clutch baskets. So, yeah, we got one owner here too. Yep, moving right along. And mail came in today. So I've actually got the shift kit right here. So that's the shift kit here for the Honda 4 and 5 speed. There you go. So here I just started taking out all the valve bodies and cleaning up all the valve bodies and the plates and everything, and haven't got them all out. I still got to get the master out, and then the that guy with the 1-2 accumulators on him. And I'm tired. It's been a long day, but I do want to, just before I get out of here tonight, show here my TransLab shift kit. And it looks like I'm going to be drilling a couple holes in these plates, plugging a hole or two, and then replacing a spring or two at the converter pressure relief valve. And I'm also going to be doing a couple valves inside the reverse servo body, replacing the spring underneath the second accumulator, etc., etc., etc. And this is the actual kit. Incredible. So I guess all the answer to all the problems that this transmission has is inside this tiny little bag. Good fucking God. Incredible.